Okay. Hi guys. I'm sorry I'm like down here today. I'm not gonna be able to it's like warming my face up. I'm not gonna be able to sit and cook with you guys like I usually do, because we're doing a stovetop session today, which I'm really excited about. But later on, once everything is all done and put together, I will sit down with you and we will eat. We'll feast. And then you'll be able to see me a little bit better. So for the first segment of this video, I'm going to be standing and you'll just see my hands. I guess maybe sometimes I'll like bend over and smell something, but other than that, probably not. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so today we are going to make flatbread. And this flatbread does not have any meat on it, but it does have dairy. The sauce that we're going to make is a white sauce. So the first thing you're gonna do is preheat your oven to 450 degrees, and then you're gonna prep everything like you would. You'll need some olive oil to start with, cherry tomatoes in half. You can slice them or you can leave them the way you want. You can use sun-dried tomatoes, to your preference. I also decided to have some arugula, some rosemary, some sliced black olives, which the recipe does not call for. I'm just a huge fan of black olives. And then some fresh mozzarella, black pepper, and salt. You'll need a small saucepan, because we are, like I said, gonna make a white sauce. You can also use fontina cheese if you care to. And then you'll need a small kind of like simmery pan as well, because we're gonna do something with the onions. Speaking of onions, regular white onions, and I went ahead and I sliced them. You can dice them or you can do without them. Some people like onions, some people don't. Okay, so you'll also need cornstarch, and you'll need some white wine or like a sweet kind of like sherry wine to go in the sauce that we're gonna make. And then you'll need some whole milk. You can see there. Some people like to use cream. You can use cream as well. Instead of olive oil, you can choose to use lard or butter if you want to. Just depends on your preference. So you're gonna turn your stovetop onto high. What we're gonna do, we're gonna add the cornstarch and the milk, and we're gonna bring it to a boil. Like I said, this won't take long at all. You don't want to leave your cream or your whole milk on the stove for too long. You want to be stirring it consistently. Milk tends to burn or kind of like coagulate. So the cornstarch, you're probably going to need anywhere from maybe I want to say 2 tablespoons or a tablespoon, just depending. So you're gonna go ahead and add your cornstarch. I have little packets of cornstarch so that they're ready for me to go. But so you're gonna bring that to a boil, stir your cornstarch together. You wanna stir this every 1 to 2 minutes, okay? After this is brought to a boil, you wanna immediately remove it from this stovetop, and you're gonna go ahead and add a pinch of pepper, and you're also gonna add your fontina cheese or your mozzarella cheese. If you are gonna use mozzarella, I highly suggest that you get fresh sliced mozzarella. I don't know if you can see, oh, you can't see them. I have 2 little guys hanging out right here waiting for me to drop something. So in this pan, while we're waiting for this to boil, we are gonna bring this to probably about a medium temperature. And we're gonna go ahead and put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in it. And we're gonna add our onion slices. So you're gonna go ahead and measure out 2 tablespoons. Make sure that you're not using a teaspoon. A teaspoon and a tablespoon are 2 different things. 1 teaspoon or 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. So if you only have a teaspoon, put 6 teaspoons in. If you have a tablespoon, you wanna use 2 tablespoons. So if you can see, this is starting to come to a boil. We're gonna remove it. You're going to wait for this to warm up kinda. Go ahead and add our, actually, let's do this so you guys can see. So this came to a boil. We're gonna go ahead and add our cheese. Now you want about anywhere between 4 to 6 ounces of cheese per, I want to say how many ounces is this? Per 4 ounces. So probably about 1 to 1, right? Of cheese. That'll melt. It's much easier to melt like a fontina cheese or like a soft mozz instead of like a provolone, which, like I said, whatever cheese you want to use, that's your choice. I'm gonna add, the recipe doesn't call to add black pepper to the onions, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So, and it's a good way to see if the pan's ready. So in the pan with the onions, this is gonna take anywhere between 6 to 9 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and add about 2 ounces of our white wine. To our pan. I was not expecting the pan to be so hot, but that's a good thing, I guess. You can set that back down. Go ahead and add our onions. Now this is a whole medium onion. A little bit of the black onion on, black olive on there. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Like I said, this is gonna take anywhere between 6 to 9 minutes. Now you don't want the temperature too high, but you don't want it too low. So anywhere between like a medium and a high would be good. Now I did remove this from the heat. Like I said, it was brought to a boil and it's completely off of the heat now. So the melting process for the cheese is completely relying off of the residual heat from the pan and whatever heat the whole melt had. So like I said, you don't want to heat this too long, and I think we had this on the stovetop for about a minute. While that is cooking, you do want to have, you can either make your flatbread at home or you can purchase it. I chose to buy mine. This is what flatbread looks like. I just got 2 for today. It's pretty much like, you can use pita bread as well if you care to as well. We are just waiting for the onions to caramelize. I think I want to add my black olives to this. I'm going to go ahead and add rosemary and thyme to this. And you can dice this up, or you can just kind of rub your fingers around it and wait for the leaves to fall off. Throw a couple of my tomatoes in there. Now you can caramelize your onions as brown as you want. Some people still like to have that internal crunch, crisp to them, so they'll like flash saute them, and so it'll kind of give you like a golden color, which is what we have here. Some people like to let them sit for a little longer, make them go a little deeper. I am going to add a little bit more olive oil to this just because of the sticking, and I'm also going to add a pinch of salt. I'm going to add some Italian seasoning to mine as well. Now I returned the sauce back to the stovetop just to make sure the cheese is, you know, workable, and it looks about right. You can see there. You want to make sure you can work with it, and we can. So I'm gonna give that a good stir. And now we can dress our flatbread. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but I personally like to heat up my pizza pan. So we're gonna take our pizza pan out of our, woo, all that heat. We're gonna take our pizza pan out of that 400-degree oven and set it right on top of our stove top. Go ahead and put our 2 flatbreads down here. And now we're gonna dress them. So, now after we dress these, you're gonna wanna put them back into the oven